Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Gnanidhi channel. So, myself, Professor Pushpa and Avanti, Assistant Professor of Physics, Government First Grade College for Women, Chamkandi. In first video, I delivered the lecture about the superconductivity, definition of the superconductivity, critical temperature, critical magnetic field, Meissner effect, and persistent current. But in today's class, we shall discuss about the types of superconductors, London equations, applications of superconductors. So, dear students, as you know the definition of the superconductivity, that is, it is the phenomenon of the zero resistivity or zero electrical resistivity of the material. So, for the sake of convenience here, there are two types of the superconductors, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 superconductors are the soft superconductors and type 2 superconductors are the hard superconductors. So the type 1 and type 2 superconductors can be classified according to their characteristics. Type 1 superconductors are those which can tolerate impurities without affecting the superconducting properties. Whenever we add the impurities to the superconducting element, the superconducting property is not lost. And but in the case of the type 2 superconductors, that is the hard superconductors are called the type 2 superconductors. Hard superconductors are those which cannot to tolerate impurities. So when we had the impurities, it affect the superconducting property. And in the case of the type 1 superconductors, it's also called as the soft superconductors. And here only one critical field exists for these superconductors. So the example for the superconductors are tin, lead, aluminium, zinc, magnesium, etc. The critical field value is very low, that is type 1 superconductors critical field value is low, and these such superconductors exhibits perfect and complete Meissner effects. In last class I already explained about the Meissner effect. It is the expulsion of the magnetic lines of force from the interior of the superconducting specimen, and the current flows through the surface only, and these materials have limited technical applications because of very low field strength value. But in the case of type 1 superconductors, the critical values of the magnetic field at which magnetization drops are very low. The maximum known critical field for type 1 superconductor is of the order of 0.1 Tesla. The low value of critical field makes these materials unsuitable for use in high field superconducting magnets. But in the case of the type 2 superconductors, and also these are all called as hard superconductors. In this case, the two critical fields, that is SC1, it is upper and lower, and HC2, it's upper for these. And critical field value is very high. In the case of type 1, it is low, but here it is very high. And type 2 superconductors do not exhibit perfect and complete Meissner effect. And it is found that current flows throughout the material. But here in the case of the type 1 superconductor, the current will be flows through the surface of the elements only, surface. But here it will be flows through the entire material. And these materials have wider technology for very high field strength value. So the example for the type 2 superconductors are niobium, zirconium, niobium, titanium alloys, and vanadium, gallium, and niobium tin intermetallic compounds. These are technically more useful than type 1 superconductors due to tolerating high magnetic fields. And next comes to the London equation. London and London derived a phenomenological theory of superconductivity, which correctly describes the Meissner effect. They assumed that the electrons move in a frictionless state. So here, in the superconducting state, the current density is directly proportional to the vector potential A of the local magnetic field. Here B is equals to, that's magnetic field B is equals to curl A. The constant of proportionality is, that is 1 divided by mu naught lambda L whole square. Thus current density J is equals to minus 1 divided by mu naught lambda L square into A. Means here the J is nothing but it is the electrical current density. It is in the normal state of the metal, which can be described by the Ohm's law, that is J is equals to sigma into E. And we modified this to describe the conduction and the Meissner effect in the superconducting state. Therefore, we assume that in the superconducting state, the current density is directly proportional to the vector potential of the local magnetic field. That is J is equals to minus 1 divided by mu naught lambda L square into A. Here lambda L is nothing but it is the dimension of length. This is the London first equation. So now we have to taking the curl on both sides of the above equation, that is curl J is equals to minus 1 divided by mu naught lambda L square into B. So and again now we have to consider the Maxwell's equation. There is a Maxwell's electromagnetic equations. There are 4 kind of equation. Among that we have to consider one equation, that is curl B is equals to mu naught J. So now we have to taking the curl on both sides of the above equation, that is curl B is equals to mu naught curl J. Now curl, as we know that the curl B is equals to gradient divergence of B minus del square B. Therefore curl B is equals to minus del square B, because divergence of B is equals to 0. And now we have to combining equation 4 and 5. Then we get del square minus del square B is equals to mu naught curl J. That is now we have to using as London equation, that is equation 2, del square B is equals to mu naught curl A. Now we have to substitute the value of curl J. Curl J is in equation 2, that is minus 1 divided by mu naught lambda L square into B. Therefore del square B is equals to B divided by lambda L square, where lambda L is the London penetration depth. For a superconductor to the right of the plane, that is x equals to 0, then equation 6 has the solution, that is B of x is equals to B of 0. So here B of x equals to B of 0 into exponential minus x divided by lambda L. Here B of 0 is the field at the plane boundary. The penetration depth lambda L is defined as, it is the distance in which field decreases by the factor e to the power of minus 1. Therefore here equation 7 indicates that B does not penetrate very deeply into a superconductor, means the magnetic field lines does not penetrate very deeply into a superconductor. Therefore it implies the Meissner effect. According to Meissner effect, the magnetic lines of force are expelled by the superconducting specimen. So here according to this graph, now we have to plot a graph of, that is the distance versus the magnetic field. A magnetic field external to the superconducting, it will be decays exponentially because it is a exponential curve, exponentially as it penetrates the superconductor. The decay constant is called as the penetration depth lambda L. The vacuum superconducting interface is at x equals to 0. Here we have to, you have already mentioned that is x equals to 0. It is nothing but the vacuum superconducting interface. So again here this equation 7, it will be agrees well with the experimental observation that the magnetic field does not drop to 0 abruptly at the surface, but decays inside the superconductor in a character distance lambda L, and this lambda L called as a London penetration depth. Thus, the flux vanishes in the interior of the superconductor. The value of lambda L found to experimentally range from 30 nanometer to 500 nanometer. So, now come to the applications of superconductors. Low temperature liquid helium superconductors are used to fabricate high field magnets and some electronic and radio frequency devices. In electronics industry, ultra high performance filters are now being built. Since superconducting, whereas zero, as we know that superconductors are having a zero resistance even at high frequencies. So many more filter stages can be applied to achieve a desired frequency response. This translates into an ability to pass desired frequencies and block undesirable frequencies in high congestion radio frequency application such as cellular telephone system. The superconducting magnets have been employed in NMR spectrometers, that is nuclear magnetic resonance spectrometer, and NMR imaging is used in medical diagnostics. Nuclear magnetic resonance spectrometer technology uses superconducting wires cooled with cryogens. That cryogen is nothing but it is the liquid helium and the liquid nitrogen to generate a magnetic field. So here NMR spectrometers provide the most homogeneous magnetic fields and the greatest spectral resolution. NMR spectroscopy can be used for chemical analysis, reaction monitoring, and quality assurance, quality control experiments. High field instruments enable unparalleled resolution for structure determination, particularly for complex molecules. The superconductors can be used to perform logic and storage functions in computers. So nowadays we are used to so many generation computers. So in that computers, the superconductors play a very important role. Superconductor material can be suspended in air against repulsive force from permanent magnet. The levitation can be used in transportation. The superconductor levitation, it will be used in Germany because of the superconductor levitations. There is no need to use any machinery parts because the superconductor levitations are used for the transportation purposes. As there is no heat loss in superconductor, so power can be transmitted through the superconducting cable because here power loss is zero. Superconducting materials, if used for power cables, enable transmission of power over very long distances using a diameter of a few centimeters without any significant power loss or drop in voltage. Superconducting solenoid, which do not produce any heat during operation, have been produced because of its zero resistance, there is no heat will be produced in the superconducting materials. However, it must be noted that superconductivity can be destroyed if the magnetic field exceeds a critical value, because in one of the property we know that the superconducting property is lost by applying the excess magnetic field. So if it is in a minimum sense, then the magnetic property does not lost. It has been possible to design electromagnets using superconductivity for used in laboratories and for low temperature devices like the maser. So this completes the superconductivity topic. Thank you.